Thank you so much for using the minute underwriting calculator that I put together to solve a problem. It solves a lot of problems actually. I was using a lot of various calculators, and I heard this from a lot of folks I work with too. They get these calculators. I was getting these calculators. It's really daunting. There's a million fields to fill in. It's really confusing when you just need some basics. You just want to underwrite a deal, see what pencils out, see what your offer price could possibly be. You don't need to fill out the utilities and all that junk. You just need to kind of keep it simple. So I put this one together, and you just plug in some basic numbers, starting with the current year, gross potential rent. You plug that in, and then also what your vacancy amount could be, currently is, and then your expense ratio for storage. A lot of the time, if it's a poorly run facility, it's about 40. It could go as low as 15 on one of my facilities. We got it at that low. But apartments a bit higher. Purchase price, that's a big one there that we're going to play with in a little bit. Interest rate, things are a little bit high right now, so we have it at around this rate here. If it's an SBA loan, definitely could be in the nines. We know that stuff could be a bit lower as well. Down payment, how much are you going to put down? Loan term, that could usually stay the same too. So the more you use this, a lot of this stuff doesn't really change too much. It's mostly how much rent is it bringing, what's your expenses, and also the purchase price. Other stuff won't change as much initially. So you kind of just fill all that stuff out, and then I also have some markers here that tell you if it is a good deal or not, and then what makes sense. We have these 5-year projections here. So you might say, well, it doesn't really make sense now, but after year one, after I increase the rent and lower the vacancy, I might, also lower my expenses. Maybe the deal will pencil out. In this case here, maybe, I increase the revenue by 20%, and then boom, it works. So anything over a DSCR of 1.25, which is what a lot of banks want, some only want 1.2, it turns green. So if it goes above 2, then it turns to stellar down here, and that's pretty awesome. If you're able to achieve that. But yeah, so this kind of helps you figure out what purchase price might work. You could kind of just play around with the different numbers here. You're like, oh my goodness, I'm not going to get even close to that. Let's try 800,000, and boom, we're right around there. So what I typically like to do is I like to look prepared and professional when talking to sellers, when talking to brokers, whoever's presenting me with the deal. And I kind of just say, hey, I'm not trying to lowball you. This is an educated decision that I'm making to offer this price. I just want to almost break even with this price, but I got to pay my loan. So I personally don't care as much about cap rates, considering interest rates are so high. I just got to be able to pay my mortgage, right? My P&I, principal and interest annual. That's what that is, that number there. So if my NOI, my net operating income, which is basically my gross potential rent, minus my expenses, that's basically our NOI, or net operating income. You subtract the amount that you have for your loan payment, and that basically, shows if you could pay for stuff or not. So I just want to get that, right now, of course, it's higher, so our, we're able to actually pay our mortgage. We don't have a lot left over, only about 15 grand, but we're not quite at that 1.25 ratio. We need to get to about $25,000 profit for it to actually pencil out a bit more. Actually, that's right around that. So anyway, just play around with it. Let me know if you find any bugs. I hope this solves a lot of your problems, helps you underwrite stuff in a minute. Get your LOIs out there, submit as many as possible. The worst thing that could happen is a seller says no, and you just kind of move on and go to the next property. So underwrite a ton of deals. Hope you guys land some from this.